According to the World Economic Forum, by 2035, there'll be more young Africans entering the workforce each year than in the rest of the world combined. However, we don't have to wait till then, as already young people are making great inroads in the African mining sector, and I'm joined by two of them today. Hello, and welcome to Mining Review Africa's Future Leader series. Today I'm joined by two aspiring leaders from Ramjack Technology Solutions. I'm joined by Barbara Owusu Kanadu, who's the Manager of Execution Excellence in West Africa, and New Maleka, Manager of Execution Excellence at the company and is based in South Africa. Barbara and New, thank you very much for joining me today. Barbara, I want to start with you. Please can you give us an overview of your career from where you started to where you are today?
Okay, thank you, Gerard. Yeah, I did my BSc in mining engineering. So right after school, I joined a mining support service company. They were into ties, mining ties. So that's actually where I started my career. I was a support service engineer, and then I moved up and became a team lead as well. And that's actually got what got me interested in project management, because it was like a project based, and I had to move from one mine to the other in Ghana, offering support services. And after that, I decided to pursue my MSc in project management, and then moving around the mining industry, I ended up at Ramjack. Yeah, so that's been my career. It's been entirely in the mining industry in Ghana, and currently my present role with Ramjack. Yes.
Okay, well, Barbara, you've certainly achieved a lot in a short space of time. But let's move on to you. Now, you are a mining engineer by profession. What inspired you to pursue that career?
Thanks, Jared, and for the opportunity as well to share my story. So, I grew up very far from the mines. I think the nearest mine that we had from where I was staying in Limpopo, it was about within a radius of 100 kilometer or so. So I learned a lot from the mines from a friend. I had this friend growing up called Tato. So his dad used to work at the mine. So every time during school holidays, when we link up, he'll always sort of like share all these exciting stories from what he was hearing from his dad. He was very passionate about mining, and just from his stories, I was then sold into start understanding what careers are actually there within the mining space that I can sort of like explore. And a couple of years down the line, here I am, mining engineer.
Okay, that's good to know. Um, Barbara, now before we started this interview, you mentioned that your day starts quite early. Can you tell us what inspires you to come to work every day?
I think for me, one thing that's driven me in my career is knowing that I'm offering value to whichever company I'm working for. And also, it's important to me that I buy into and understand the vision of the organization I'm working with. And that's something I strongly have with Ramjack. And just knowing that I'm being helpful to the team, I'm helping the team get to our goals, that inspires me. Work is, it doesn't feel like a chore going to work, because I know that we are actually making a difference in the lives of the companies that we are working for. And yeah, for me, that's the biggest thing. Every time I go to work, there's something new happening. There's a different project we are working on. There's so many different technologies we are um, bringing into the mining space or already working on, and it's I'm passionate about it. I enjoy it. It doesn't feel like work. And also I have a great team. The Ramjack team, they are amazing people. So it feels like, oh, you're hanging out with friends and you're making a difference. So yeah, that's what makes me get up to work, like get up and go to work every day, because yeah, it's fun. And
Uh,
we are making meaningful impact in the mining industry. Yes.
oh, that's good to hear, Barbara. If I can just come back to you, can you tell me what is your role in the company? And also to you, just give me a typical day at work at Ramjack Technology Solutions.
So I work as a execution excellence manager for our technical, let me just say technical services department. So responsible for sub-Saharan Africa. So what I do there is to oversee all the technology deployment projects, and also put together technology deployment strategies, as well as adoption or diffusion strategies. Because our work is not only to deploy technologies at the mines, but it's also more on ensuring that once we've deployed those technologies, the mines know how to go about in terms of adoption, and making sure that the communication models that we put in place, and whatever that we sort of like installed also gets to work. So we're also pushing for sustainability, so as to say. And in terms of my typical day, look, I'm logged in meetings for most part of my day. So I come in at work, and I'm logged in meetings from the time I'm in the office to the time when I actually knock off. And considering that we work with clients from anywhere across the globe, so there's also a time zone element that also comes in there, where it's 4 p.m. in SA and I want to knock off, but it's like 2 p.m. in West Africa. Now I need to stay behind because I need to take some of the meetings from WEV. So that's more or less like what my days looks like. But I'm also attending to clients calls um, from a support perspective, as I've indicated before. Not only do we do deployments, but we also offer support. So someone needs to sort of like be available on a senior level here and there to actually advise when there are issues with certain systems. I mean, there are always problems with some of the work that we do. So it's important that we offer that support, that people understand the value thereof.
Oh, it sounds like you never switch off from work. But can you tell me, what do you enjoy most about working at Ramjack?
Uh, that you can never switch off, Jared. You can't. But I think what I enjoy the most, it's the complex technology projects that we work on. Some of them being technologies that are totally new and they've never been deployed anywhere else. So you have like limited information or knowledge on the know-how, and then that's where you need to now sit down with the OTMs to try and develop those deployment and adoption strategies. But I think I enjoy that in the sense that it exposes me to a very broad technology environment that if I was anywhere else, I would not be having this exposure. We're dealing with so many technologies in-house, and at any given time, when any new technology comes in, you learn on your feet. Like, yeah. So for me, that's exciting. That dynamic environment works in my favor.
Great stuff. Barbara, coming back to you, I know that you alluded to some of the parts that you like about working for the company. What are some of the other things that you enjoy most about working at Ramjack?
Um, I'm going to piggyback off what Hugh said. It's a very dynamic environment. Like you are working on projects you've probably never experienced in any other project environment before. We have so many different technologies, real-time mining technologies, and um, the just the knowledge, the volume of knowledge you are acquiring, and the dynamics involved, the different things you are learning. That's very, very exciting, and especially coming from a project background. Um, it's not it's not one way. It's not just this particular aspect. You are learning about different things. You are learning about safety systems. You are learning about maintenance systems and all of that. And yes, for me, that's something I find very exciting. It's like you don't know what today will bring or what you are going to learn. And yeah, that's very it keeps you on your toes, and it keeps you learning. It keeps you like trying to innovate, find new strategies to handle new complex situations. And if you are familiar with projects, they don't 100% go
Yeah.
as you always want them to. And that's another learning opportunity for you to figure out new ways to do things. And that's something working at Ramjack has really exposed me to. And I'm really grateful for that experience. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Barbara, you touched on always learning and always being kept on your toes. But as a young woman in the mining sector, surely there are challenges that you face. Tell me about some of these challenges and how you overcome them.
Ah, this question is a bit challenging because for the most part of my career, I've been either the only lady or one of the few ladies in that particular space. In a way, it's worked to my favor because, like, it means I'm different. It means I'm the different person in there. And it's either people are willing to help me grow, or I get more room to explore and find out like where I want to like or where I'm comfortable. So I think that has worked in my favor, and I want to look at it from the positive. If we want to talk about a challenge, it can be challenging in the sense that there are not a lot of um, role models, if I can use that word, of people who have been in the exact same situation as I have been in to sometimes guide and all of that. But even so, I don't really um, see that as much of a challenge because I believe I can learn from anyone, regardless of gender, male, female, whoever I get access to that can help me in a particular or area of my career. I tap into that help without feeling any type of um, challenge. So I think I would like to look at this question in the positive sense, as in it's been exciting. It's good to sometimes it's good to be the unique the only female in the room, and then yeah, and sometimes you get to be pampered by the gentleman as well. Yes, you get to be pampered by the gentleman, and you get to learn. So yeah, that's how I choose to look at it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I want to come to you, and Barbara's touched on, always learning, and also developing her career. But let's look at you specifically. How is the company helping you to grow as a young leader?
Jared, I think the company is helping me in the sense that I'm working with people that believe in my abilities, and as a result, that sort of like allows me to do well in whatever role that they actually put me in. But not only that, I'm exposed to diverse projects, or given an opportunity to work in diverse projects within the business. I have access to the senior people in terms of mentorship within the business. I also have like access to lots of our partners or OTMs that we work with on this deployment or technology projects that we are on. So I have all the opportunities internally that I think anyone can ask for, and most importantly, I think I'm just afforded an opportunity to be myself and use my talent and to generate value for the clients. So yeah, I think having that support or that backing where someone sort of like believes in you, like Barbara said, we're dealing with projects that sometimes are very niche or new, and we're trying to sort of like develop strategies on how to actually deploy them. Where chances of failure sometimes might be too high, but when you have internal support, then you're sort of like at the liberty to trial out different things until whatever that, or innovate until whatever that you have on paper actually works. So I have that support internally, and that works in my favor.
Okay. Barbara, do you agree with that? Is there anything that you'd like to add to it?
I 100% agree with that. It's We are supported. That's the big thing. I want to add on from what Hugh said. We feel heard and valued, and I think that's something that drives people to continue giving their best. Because as Africans, there's a premium is placed on being elderly and
Yeah.
supposedly having more wisdom. But if you're in a space where young voices are also heard, we are put into decision making spaces, we are actually afforded the respect to make decisions and, as you said, to be ourselves, develop our management capabilities, to handle clients and all of that. It empowers you to continue to grow and to do more, and um, that's what Ramjack does for us. There's so much support from the senior management team. They believe in us. They allow us to thrive, to manage our teams based on our abilities. There's no fear of um, reprimand or like
Mm.
fear of losing your job or something because of a mistake or things like that. It's not a hostile environment. It's a the work culture is very, very good, and that's an environment I believe everyone will thrive in, and that's the kind of environment we have at Ramtech.
Okay. So, Barbara, can you tell me what has been the highlight of your career thus far at Ramjack Technology Solutions?
Um, Being a project manager, I think I would be expected to default to a particular project, but I think the highlight of my career has been the people I've gotten the opportunity to work with. And I think um, in a big way, they have kept me going. I think I've mentioned it, I keep on going back to it, but I'm very big on organizational culture and the kind of environment that people are placed in the working space. And to me, if you don't have the right people around you, or if you it's very difficult to succeed. That's been my experience, and the highlights of my career, sorry, has been having a great team to work with, be it senior management, my colleagues, my subordinates, and everything. Yeah, I believe they have really pushed me. Any successes, any project successes that we've chalked has been because I had a great team that I was working with, and we managed to make that happen. So yeah, I think those are some of the, like, the people I've experienced along the journey. Like what I look back on, and I really like, it makes me happy. It's like, oh, I've worked with great people. They really helped me. They've developed me, and yeah. So I think that's what I'll attribute my major career highlight to. Yeah.
Okay. And you, if I can ask you the same question, what would be the highlight of your career thus far?
Yeah, so it's sort of like to a certain extent aligns with what Barbara was sharing, but with me, it's more on the time that I spent in Ghana. I had an opportunity to work as a specialist mining engineer at one of our client sites in Ghana. I think about 2 years back. Spent a period of about 2 years at that site, and that was like immediately after waking from South Africa and just going straight into that region. And the highlight that actually came out of that, or maybe learning, if I can actually say that I see as a highlight, that was the culture. Yeah, for me, it came in as a cultural learning that it taught me a lot in terms of managing people or leading people from different cultures, and yeah, it's a highlight that I think I've taken as sort of a also as sort of a skill going forward into my career.
Okay, that's interesting. Now let's move away from the company for a bit. And Barbara, I understand that you are involved in various organizations that are helping to uplift the lives of women and children in Ghana. Can you give me some insights into the work that you are doing in this regard?
Okay. So in 2016, I started a foundation, and the goal was to support education in Ghana. We provide books to underprivileged children. We help set up libraries. Um, and that comes from my background. My parents read a lot. We had a sizable library at home, and it really impacted my childhood and um, my academics and everything. And I felt every child should have that same opportunity. So whilst I was doing my master's in the UK, I began like bringing books. I'll go to the local charities, and then I'll take any books they don't need, and then I'll ship it to Ghana. And that's how the foundation started. And yes, and it's something I'm very, very passionate about. I believe every child should have access to storybooks, reading books. It broadens your imagination, even if you are not able to travel anywhere. With books you can go anywhere. So yeah, that's the main goal for that foundation. And we are not doing too bad. Sometimes think life gets busy and we are not able to channel as much time as I would want to it, but it's still alive and thriving. I also work with women in mining in Ghana, and I've done work with Association of Women in Mining in Africa as well. And another thing, I mentioned my career. Most of the time, you are the only woman in the room. Fortunately, now the mining space is opening up more for women, and there are more women coming into the industry. I want to be able to assist in any way that I can to make sure that anyone coming into the industry feels supported. They don't feel like they are the only lady and there's no one they can speak to. So the programs that we organize, gender related activities that are unique to women and all of that, um, I get involved. I contribute my time so that so that we build community. Women don't feel isolated in the mining industry. So yeah, that's some of the things I've been up to.
Okay, that's good to hear. Now, you earlier you said that you never switch off, but surely you must have some interest outside of work. What are some of these interests that you do? Any hobbies, things that you are involved in outside of the work environment?
Yeah, I'm not as heavily involved as Barbara is, but look, when I get a chance to unwind, I'm on my PlayStation. I'm an avid FIFA guy, so I'm on my PlayStation. When I get chance, I'm also traveling. I love landscape photography. So that's something that I also sort of like enjoy doing. Got my own personal drone that I use. So every chance that I actually get to take some landscape pictures. So yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear. Barbara, both you and you, sorry, that's no pun intended there, but have both brought up the busyness of your jobs. But as young people and as aspiring leaders, Barbara, how do you ensure a good work-life balance?
Uh, Interesting. Aside work, I think what I personally do is I try not to do everything by myself. So at home,
Mm.
I'm married, and I make sure I have help. So someone to help with cleaning, sometimes someone to help with cooking. Sometimes you have to travel for work for periods of time, days or weeks, and I would not want to leave my husband without food or leave the house in a state. So it makes life easy to have help, and that sort of takes away the stress of stressing about work, stressing about things at home getting done. So that's one key thing for me. Another thing is also making time for my husband. That's especially when I come back from a long trip. So we do staycation, so take a mini vacation, like date nights and things like that. Yeah, prioritize those things so my life is not all work, work, work. Also, I have hobbies. I collect fragrances. I have a perfume blog, and I have a perfume blog. I talk about perfumes. I do reviews on Insta. So that's one way I keep myself entertained aside work. Yes. So um, my family, my perfume blog, not addiction. Yes. That's some of the ways that I balance my life. And ever so often, when we get time, I enjoy traveling as well. So that's something that I do with my husband when we have time. So yeah, that's how I manage to keep my life from being just work, 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 and fixing other fun stuff and get to spend time with my family as well. Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I'm not too sure if you've checked out Barbara's blog yet. If you
I
hasn't,
I know last time I had some of our employees from WEF and they had like this long list of perfumes that they needed to purchase for it, and I had to show them around where to actually buy those. So I totally understand her hobbies.
yeah. Look, one final closing question, and this is posed to both of you, and I'll start with you, Barbara. What advice can you give, particularly to young women that are starting a career in the mining sector?
Okay. I One thing I will say is try and stay true to who you are and allow yourself to develop without any preconceived notions of how or what trajectory your life should go. I think that limits people a lot. And it's like there's so much pressure and limitations on us. I have to be this at this time. I have to get here at this time. And when those things don't happen, it sort of like completely demoralizes you, or like it's like, where do I go from here? Because I had a plan. It's good. I'll never say don't have a plan. It's good to have a plan, but allow yourself to grow, allow life to lead you where it wants to lead you. I will say I've had a very interesting career, which is a bit different from what my what my career should have been. I'm a mining engineer. I never really worked in any of the mainstream mining, coal mining sectors. My career has meandered all over the place and gotten me to where I am. I wouldn't have it any other way. I think it's unique that way. It's very exciting. It's interesting. There's always something to look forward to, and that's something I would want to encourage. See where the road takes you. It's good to have a plan, but sometimes allow life to take you to where it wants to take you. And you realize, looking back, you realize it will be a beautiful journey. You would have learned, you would have grown, you would have met wonderful people. And yeah, so I think, and learn, don't stop learning. And not, it's not just academic, but don't stop learning from people, don't stop learning from the experiences you go through, don't stop finding new ways to learn new things and be in new spaces that might not be your sector. Yeah, I moved from mining engineering to project management, NGO management, and different things. Yeah, perfumes and all of that. So yeah, be open to learning different things. And yeah, I think that's the advice I'll give to young people.
Great stuff. Thank you. Now, you, as you said, you weren't really exposed to mines when you were growing up, but you've since progressed to an aspiring leader within the company. What advice do you have for any young person who wants to pursue a career in mining and also as a mining engineer?
Yeah, from my side, I think I'll just start by saying I've been privileged in the sense that I've been exposed to work for companies that have exposed me to different commodities. And I've worked for companies that were, my roles were not that clearly defined, but in wherever space I was actually planted in or department I was working in, I always sort of like took interest in understanding whatever work that is actually being done there, and I sort of like invested my time and learning and making sure that I actually excel. So my advice is that try and get exposure to different departments, or what would you call it? Any departments within the mining value chain, and don't limit yourself to a specific department, or try and, I think for some of us, you know what you want from an early stage and it's easier to specialize. But in instances where you don't even know what you want to specialize in, then it's best to actually just explore spending time with different departments until you find something that sort of like resonates with your passion. Because at some point you realize that mining is hard, it can
Yeah,
be
yeah,
frustrating sometimes.
yeah,
But in those times when things are sort of like frustrating, or going through that hard phase in your difficult phase in your career, your passion sort of like now comes in to lift you, and then you keep going. And when you struggle, always lean towards your mentors, and don't just sit in your corner and suffer alone. I think there are lots of people that have sort of like walked this journey before, that you can always lean on to sort of like help and guide you. And even when you're within the field, with time, you sort of like need to reinvent yourself and your skills to stay relevant. Don't get in and get comfortable. Keep learning new skills and developing yourself. And it's a rewarding career at the end of the day.
Great stuff. Chatting to Barbara and yourself, I can see there's a lot of passion, there's an eagerness to learn, and I can understand why you have been identified as future leaders in the mining sector in Africa. So well done to both of you on your careers thus far, and good luck in your future endeavors.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jared.